Good morning, everyone.
We are the air lovers.
And we believe that love is in the air.
But the air is highly polluted.
To know more about the air, we are going to discuss about the oxygen cycle, the anthropogenic effects, air pollution, and the invasive species.
And so, what is oxygen? Oxygen makes up nearly 21% of the Earth's atmosphere, two-thirds of the mass of the human body, and nearly half of the mass of the Earth's crust. Oxygen is one of the most important elements required to sustain life. Without it, our health begins to suffer or we die. Unhealthy or weak cells due to improper metabolism lose their natural immunity and are thus susceptible to viruses and lead the way to all kinds of serious health problems. The process of oxygen cycle. The oxygen cycle describes the flow of oxygen through the lithosphere, biosphere, and atmosphere. The oxygen cycle illustrates both how free oxygen is produced and accessible and utilized in each of these areas. Oxygen cycles, along with the carbon cycle and nitrogen cycle, plays an essential role in the existence of life on the Earth. This geochemical cycle explains the movement of oxygen gas within the atmosphere, the ecosystem, and the biosphere and the lithosphere. The oxygen cycle is interconnected with the carbon cycle. The steps involved in the oxygen cycle are: Step 1. All green plants during the process of photosynthesis release oxygen back into the atmosphere as byproduct. Step 2. All aerobic organisms use free oxygen for respiration. And step 3 is all animals exhale carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere, which is again used by the plants during photosynthesis. Now, oxygen is balanced within the atmosphere.
Air pollution. When pollutants are released into the atmosphere, they endanger both human health and well being of the entire planet. Chemicals or other airborne particles that are harmful to plants, animals, and people collectively constitute air pollution. The numerous types of air pollutants could be gases, spears of solid matter, and drops of liquid. The majority of air pollution is caused by humans and manifests as emissions from factories, vehicles, aircraft, or aerosol cans. Smoke from other people's cigarettes is likewise regarded as air pollution. Anthropogenic sources refer to these man-made pollution causes. In large cities where pollutants from numerous sources are concentrated, air pollution is more prevalent. Effect of pollution on oxygen cycle. Every living thing needs oxygen, but as humans continue to dump dangerous chemicals into the environment, the oxygen process is being threatened. Like bacteria, plants, oxygen producing organisms are frequently sensitive to their environment, so when the temperature and quality of the air in their habitat change, so does their capacity to create oxygen for us.
Now, let's talk about the anthropogenic effects. First, what is anthropogenic? Well, according to Merriam-Webster, anthropogenic is relating to or resulting to from the influence of human beings on nature. Basically, those are the intentional and malicious human activities that affect the environment, and we will be focusing on its effect on air. Before its effect, let's identify some anthropogenic sources of air pollution. Industrial emission. The factories that produce goods using coal and woods emit several key pollutants like nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and carbon monoxide. Transportation. We experience this every day, especially in urban cities. Did you know that when a car burns gasoline, it is equivalent to smoking 10 cigarettes per day? Wildfires. These are smoke that has mixture of air pollutants. Those particles collide with harmful substances and can create a smog. Smog is a mixture of smoke and fog that reduces the visibility and makes harder to breathe. So there are other sources aside from that, like the burning of fossil fuels, indoor air pollution, residential heating systems, open burning of garbage waste, and agricultural systems. So lastly, its anthropogenic effects on oxygen cycle and air. The decline of O2 concentration in the atmosphere. We all know that when oxygen levels reduce, it makes the atmosphere thin, allowing more sunlight to Earth's surface, right? There is also the breaking of atmospheric O2 balance in the emissions of greenhouses. Greenhouses is what keeps our planet livable. Too little makes the earth too cold, and too much makes the earth too warm. It's getting hot lately, so you know where we are. Air pollution made by humans. The burning of fossil fuels and other anthropogenic sources release carbon dioxide. Let's put it like this. These carbons need to go to plants to be converted into oxygen, but there are not enough plants. So, these extra carbons that is bad for Earth keeps circling around polluting us.
Invasive species, or what can also sometimes be called introduced species, alien species, or exotic species, are species that invade the ecosystem by considerably changing or disrupting them. Such species may migrate naturally to new locations, but they are frequently brought in by the activity of other species. The most frequent methods for invasive plants, animals, and microorganisms to spread to new ecosystems are thought to be human activities like those involved in international trade and pet trade. So, how humans became invasive. Our species, Homo sapiens, fled Africa sometime after 70,000 years ago to start the unstoppable spread over the planet. Only as Homo sapiens had established itself among the other human species in Europe and Asia. In the end, the ancestors of modern humans were able to colonize all the major continents and several archipelagos. Their dispersion was not typical, for Homo sapiens were when dramatic ecological changes ensued. There encountered archaic people, and many species on Earth also died of extinction. Humans undoubtedly fit this definition of invasiveness because they can be found on every continent, swimming in every ocean, and even flying overhead, which cause massive world-spread issues about air pollution.
With all the air pollution that we see, is love still in the air?